Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And tonight, we got a very special guest. This basketball head is the boys and girls all-city great. She used to dominate the PSAL, averaging somewhere around 38 points a game. In a time where not much attention was given to girls basketball. After boys and girls, she attended Hilbert Junior College, where she would become first-team All-American in 1989 and honorable mention All-American in 1988. Kodak District All-American in 1989. All-Region, All-Conference, 88 and 89. Career points, 1,150. Career rebounds, 696, while shooting a staggering 52% from the field. At Seton Hall, she would continue her stellar play and left as one of the most celebrated athletes in school's history. After her playing days were over, this basketball head was given the opportunity to coach at her alma mater, Boys and Girls High School. This job was given to her by the legend Frank Mickens, who was principal at the time at Boys and Girls, and he is also a former legendary basketball coach at Boys and Girls himself. Boys and Girls is known as one of the premier basketball schools in New York City. And New York City's AA league is one of the toughest in the country. They're also number 2 as far as winning the most championships in the city, behind DeWitt Clinton. As basketball coach at Boys and Girls, her teams never missed the playoffs. The Kangaroos have won city championships 3 times and state championship 1 time. This basketball head will also go on to win Coach of the Year on 2 occasions. Without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Boys and Girls great, Hilbert College Hall of Fame inductee, and Seton Hall standout, New York City, 2-time Coach of the Year, Coach Ruth Lovelace.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
I like that. Lace up your sneakers.
That's right. Go hard. That's what we do, bro. About that. That's what I'm saying. Hey, I told you she was going to be here, people. That's right. Look, Ruth, I'm excited, right? I'm very excited because, we came up together, right?
Absolutely.
Seeing each other in passing. You going to your games, I'm going out to Lincoln, or coming back from a game. And I remember reading the newspaper, of course, looking for my name, right? But then you flip and you see, damn, Ruth, 30, 40, 32, 25. I'm like, God damn. And it's during a time when there wasn't a lot of attention on girls basketball. And you was doing the big for Brooklyn. So salute to you.
Thank you. Glenn, back in those days, it was a little different. We didn't have the media outlet that these kids, we didn't have the resources that they have. And, it's just a constant grind every day. And, I thank God for the opportunity. Yeah, I played against guys like you every day. So when I got on the court against the girls, it seemed to be somewhat, I don't want to call it easy, but it was different.
You made it look easy. Trust me. And us guys, trust me, we was watching. Because the numbers you was putting up, you had no choice but to watch and take notice. So I want to say salute again. The first question I always like to ask everyone who come on the show is, who introduced you to the game?
Wow. You know what? I got introduced, going through my after school center. I kind of went to after school center, as a kid, elementary school. And, younger kids would play, like kickball every day. And then the older guys would come in, the teenagers would come in and, they'd kick us off the kickball court to play basketball. And it was this one time where they didn't have enough to play. And they asked me if I want to play, and I was like, "What? I don't know nothing about this." They're like, "Don't worry about it." They was one short. They needed 10, and they was like, "Yo, you just follow that guy around. Wherever he goes, you go." And that's what I did. And I just kind of, it's funny how things happen, but I kind of liked it. Like, you know what I mean? I remember going home and just telling my father like I needed some high top sneakers. He's like, "High top sneakers? You need some high top?" I said, "Yeah, I want to play basketball." He's like, "Listen. If I go out this weekend and buy some hot top sneakers, you better play." So every day, I couldn't wait till they come, in the center. We would play from like 3 to 5. They come in like 5. They take the quarter, and I'll just be looking like, I hope they won short.
That's
But that's
crazy.
how I first started to play.
Okay. Mo Les want to say what's up to you.
Yeah, just tell Mo Les I said hello. Have a good one.
Yeah. Definitely got him tomorrow.
Oh,
For sure.
all right. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely. So, who was your first coach, and what was your first game like?
Okay, my first coach was I guess in high school was Miss Hillian. She was the varsity coach of boys and girls. Back then it was really only varsity, it wasn't junior varsity girls
True.
like it is today.
No
And so
JV
she
at
was my
Lincoln either.
first high school coach, there's a lot of people I could give credit to, Debbie Mortley, when we was kids that definitely went to, Big Apple games. Big Apple games raised us. And at that time, Debbie Mortley was the teacher in charge at Boys and Girls High School. So I would just go down there and, she would teach me a lot about the fundamentals. So there's a couple of people that, I could definitely give credit for getting me started.
Wow, Keith Strauss said, "What's up?"
Yeah, Keith, that's my guy. Man, Keith go back second grade.
Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah, Keith was one of
I
them guys
didn't even know
who took
that.
me around. Yeah, we went to elementary school together.
Wow.
Definitely.
We had Coach Motley on the show season 1, and she gave it up. And I remember those days, Ruth, Big Apple. Okay? I remember, getting on the bus and going to the props and competing for our medals. Right? Those are the times.
It meant everything.
That's right.
Everything.
Yeah. And she tightened up our fundamentals as well. So salute,
Right.
Coach Motley, for sure. Definitely a legend. Would you say you caught on quick, or the game kind of came? It was like a work in progress, or did it come quick to you?
I think it came rather quick. To be honest, I was really athletic. I was, more than the average female or girl. I was quick, I was faster, and I really think that I contribute that to playing with the boys every day. It was times where I wouldn't even go play with the girls. Like we had games at like Henry Street Settlement and, Riverbank State Park. I would kind of like stay in the park and play against the boys, but I thought it would be more competitive. So I was, like I said, I was more athletic than most. I was real crafty with the ball than most girls because I was just, playing with the guys. You had to be quicker. It wasn't until like I want to say my freshman year in college, because I kind of dominated the game just based on my athletic ability in high school. But I want to say my freshman year in college, I had a great college coach named Sal Viscalia.
We gonna get there. Hold on, you're moving on too fast.
All right, okay.
We gonna get there. We gonna get there. But definitely, Keith said Ruth was good at everything she did. Facts.
You know what? I was. You know what, Keith? Yeah, Keith, you right, Keith. You right. I thank you for that. Whenever we were kids that when we were kids, you just didn't play basketball. You played whatever they were playing. Some days it would be a softball game in the park. would play that. You know, if it was like Coco Levy or whatever it was, if it was relay racing and whatever it was, you was playing. If it was dodgeball, so I was that kid that you know loved to play, loved the outdoors.
Ruth, are you covering the mouthpiece? Because I sounded muffled.
You can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes.
I was that kid that, you know,
And bring
whatever.
the phone down some. Bring the
Okay.
phone down just a little bit.
Okay.
There you go. There you
Got
go.
it? You can hear me?
Yep.
All right.
Mhm, yep.
I was the kid that played a little bit of everything. You know, whatever they were playing, you know, outdoors in the park, in the after school center, I always wanted to be a part. That was fun for me. So, you know, I just carried that on. You could tell that, you know, I became a phys ed teacher because once I got to college, you know, it was like, wow, what do you really want to do? What do you love? And I was like, you know, to be honest, when I looked at my childhood, I said that, you know, I love competing in sports. I love playing. I love teaching it. So that's what I did.
Wow. Coach Shell, Lambert Shell, who we had on the other night, he said, ask her about the Sunkiss one, the Sunkiss 101 at Hunter College. What was that about?
Whoa,
You remember that?
At Hunter College,
It was a one-on-one, said Sunkiss 101 at Hunter College.
the Sunkiss 101. You know, those was like when you played in those type of events, you know, it wasn't like you go and try out, like they handpicked you to play in that. Like, you know what I mean? You go back to Wheelchair Classic, it wasn't like no open try. You had to have like invitation. Like, you know, it's a lot different. And you know, just a lot of fun. You know, the one-on-one, I love to play one-on-one. I love when people matched up with me one-on-one. You know, it was kind of like it's your time to get on that dance floor and entertain. So that was a good time.
Wow, that's crazy. I want to say what's up to my sister-in-law, Susan. She's on the check-in. That's my brother's husband who lives on your block.
Wow.
Our family. Yeah.
Wow. Small world,
Yeah.
small world.
Yeah. So when you was coming up, who was the best player? Who was the best player in the neighborhood?
Oh, best girl playing the neighborhood? I want to say me. Nah.
Yeah, it was. It was. I'm not even going to sit here in front. The girl who came up, who was the nicest when we was coming up, was you.
Right.
And I'm telling you.
It was, you know, we had some competition. I think there's a bunch of girls that went to Madison and Veronica Simmons and Kaisha Gons, Celia Jackson. You know, it's funny, Glenn. It could be another story, but this was the right one, you know. The man up above, you know, he had faith. Because, to be honest, I was supposed to go to Madison because Madison was the girls' team in Brooklyn that was actually doing a lot of winning. Yeah. And it's funny because my 4 years in high school, August Martin beat Madison 4 straight years. If I go to Madison, that's a different story.
Right.
Bar none.
And then we would have been taking that train route almost every day.
Yes, right? yes.
Going that same route, definitely.
Yes.
Wow. When you was coming up, who was your heroes in basketball? Like, who was the people you looked up to, female or guy? They make a difference.
You know, it's funny. Like, my favorite player, all-time favorite player, was Patrick Ewing. It's funny because it's for me to say that, you know, my favorite player was a male at that time. It just goes to show you where female basketball was at that time. Definitely wasn't no WNBA. No. Every now and then you would see like Cheryl Miller. Once I got a chance to see Cheryl Miller, I was like, wow, she is the real deal. Like she is all of that. And so you know, from the girls' perspective, but you know, you just kind of, you know, grew up because you play with guys, you know. I love Georgetown, so you know I would come out and act like I was Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, you know. I had people on my block that like Syracuse, so they was Pearl, and and that's just how we did it. We had our jackets. I always had the Georgetown. Somebody had the Syracuse.
The jackets. Listen, Ruth, you taking it back. Yes.
You just kind of take it back, and my father used to, tell me to watch a lot of Georgetown games, just the way they defend, because he said like, can't used to be that one player offense. You got to be that two-way player. So just kind of like, look and learn. So, and I did. So I guess, but that's when the Big East was the Big East. And it's crazy how things work. From those early days, I always said I want to play in the Big East because of that.
Yeah. And you did.
And I did.
It's crazy. Well, it's another part of the show that you probably don't know about. As you see, we got artwork, right?
Okay.
So as I'm interviewing you, I got my artist, our resident artist, Jamel Powell. He played for Jackson, by the way.
Okay. Andrew, that my all-time favorites is Coach Granby. Shout out to Coach Granby.
And listen,
The Kangaroo Classic?
he said he also played in the Kangaroo Classic when Coach Granby was there, because Coach Granby was his coach.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
So he like how proud he was about like what she was doing. And shit.
Yeah. He said how Coach Granby used to tell his team how proud he was of you and how far you've come. Because, all them guys is tight. Coach Granby, Mickens, all those guys.
Absolutely.
And they all watched us play.
Hey, Glenn, let me tell you a quick story on Coach Granby is that, when I first got the coaching job, he was one that reached out to me and, wished me well. And he kind of told me, like, you just got to understand the situation you're going in. A lot of people are not rooting for you, especially Mel, no matter what they say to you. A lot of them can't take that you're going to beat them. And he just wanted, he just told me like anything I need, any questions I have, to just reach out, and we just stay connected. We scrimmaged each other every year, and I always made sure he was in either the Kangaroo Classic or the Frank Mickens Classic, because I know too that's what Mickens would have wanted.
Definitely. And it's so crazy how full circle it comes, right? You being a product of, boys and girls, my God being a product of Andrew Jackson, and we just keeping the love, man, for the basketball here to celebrate you guys. So this is awesome for me.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, yo, Jay, those two are yours right there. Those shirts right there. Yeah. All right. So in the beginning, you had this knack for scoring, and you mentioned it earlier. The fact that you was able to score against us made the girls a piece of cake.
So true. You're correct. Yeah, I did have a knack for scoring. I never considered myself like a shooter, but I consider myself a scorer. I could score in various ways. I learned to like read defense and take what the defense gave me. I try to get easy points. I try to run the court. I try to play harder. I try to get to the foul line. So all those different ways, points just added up. But I would say, my inside game, I was just, so physical, and so I just played so hard. And I scored a lot of my points mostly scored in the paint.
Who was Michelle? Keith said you and Michelle was tough for the hot.
Oh, Michelle Drayton. Yeah, she was the point guard.
Yes, I remember the name now. Yes.
Michelle, yeah, the glasses. Everybody said Michelle with the glasses. Michelle was really good. She, I'm originally from Crown Heights. Michelle was from Bed-Stuy. Could really handle the ball. Wound up playing at Norfolk State in Virginia, and kind of just stayed down there. We're very proud of her. She definitely got me the ball. She believed in me, and she said like, we're gonna go as far as you go. That's what she used to tell me.
Wow.
Yeah. So
there's nothing like having a teammate that believed in you. I know because I played with Tiny. And if you didn't catch the ball, if you were in the spot that you weren't supposed to be, you wasn't getting it. He throwing it to Bernard or Shaw. So we made sure when that ball went up that we took off. Because you got a good point guard, they're going to get you the ball.
Absolutely.
Who is your toughest competition?
Oh, like I said, in my day it was Madison out of Brooklyn. They were really tough. It was Madison and August Martin.
Yes,
Like
August Martin was tough.
like I said, they wanted my 4 years from 83 to 87. They won the city championship 4 years in a row, and they played against Madison. I ain't gonna lie, it was tough. Watching those games, those semifinals, or going to watch those finals. But at the end of the day, I think I made the right choice of going to boys and girls, just being that big fish in a little pond. It worked for me. I always believed in too, Glenn, and giving back to my community. So when it came down to me, and I'm telling you, I was going to Madison maybe up until the week before school. But I was one that loved my community and loved my neighborhood, and I felt that like I needed to give back to them. And I wanted my family and my friends to kind of walk, be walking distance from the school to come watch me play. And that meant everything to me. Sacrifice maybe winning some championships, but in the long run, it was the best decision, because I met some great people. I had some great administrators at Boys and Girls High. As you guys know, I moved on. I went to college, and when I came back, they showed me love. And here I am 28 years later. That's kind of unheard of, to be in one place for 28 years. And we're not even talking about, the basketball. We just talk about teaching. Like, you don't really stay in one place for 28 years. But, I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. But it's been some really good people who really believed in me and loved in me and trusted in me, and here I sit, 28 years.
You listen, you are going to leave this game a legend. You're already getting that legendary status now, but when you leave this game, when it's all said and done, you're going to go down as one of the greatest coaches in New York City history. Trust me.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're going to leave out of high school on this note. Give me a game where you was in a zone and everything you put up went in. Your best game in high school.
Think it back. I had a couple of them, but I would have to say. I would have to.
She said, I got a couple of them.
Maybe Sarah J. Hill at Sarah J. Hill.
Sarah J was just like everybody's dumping ground. We played them first every year. Every year we played Sarah J out first.
Right.
It was like, get your workout on, get to know who you are, and then we can move on from there. Yeah, the volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
We playing Sarah J. Hill at Sarah J. Hill. It's like midway through the third quarter, I got 54 points. And, it was just things, it was just different, Glenn. Just trying to play the game right. And my coach took me out, and we were up big, and it was the right thing to do. For selfish reasons, for individual reasons, you're like, dang, she left me in there. I probably have finished with like 75, but, just understanding the game and doing things right, it definitely was the right thing to do. But I just know the way I was scoring that, I could have had about 75 points in that game. But she definitely, she took me out.
Wow. Lam Michelle was saying some of the same things. This guy scored 3,000 points, 3,001 points in college. And he was like, yo, G, I'll be coming out like the third quarter, 25. Just like, let the other guys play. I wasn't even thinking at that time. He said, I wasn't thinking about these points. Now that I'm a grown man, I sit back and was like, I could have had like 4,000 points.
Yeah, you do think about it. It's just something to think about.
Yeah, just something to think about. Wow. Was it anybody who gave y'all fits? Is there anybody, not team, to about the person who you played them against? So you said, you know what? Me and this person go out there all the time.
Um, to be honest, I really didn't look at my opponents like that. I just went out and I played, and I played with a chip on my shoulder, Glenn, to be honest, because, again, I was that big fish in that little pond, just kind of putting, boys and girls on the map. But I think people played me like that. I faced a lot of gimmick defenses, a lot of boxing ones, triangle two, just people just being trying to be real physical with me. But I just tried to play the game the right way, the way I was taught to play it. I wouldn't say that, you got to be honest, Glenn. Like you look back and back then, like you said, you made a great point. We used to pick up the daily news every day to see who scored what, and I kind of wish these kids had that today. It meant the world. Like that's the first thing you did before you get that bacon, egg, and cheese. You grab that daily news off that newsstand. You go right there on
Right.
Utica. You grab it, jump on the train. I grab it and
Yeah.
go across the street and the high. And with that being said, you pretty much knew who was going to be like somewhere first team or daily news or newsday. So those are the people like, you would probably like put up in your room and you like, all right, we played on January 25th. Let me X that off, So the people that was like right there on your level, to be
Yeah.
honest, you couldn't wait to play them.
And now you go to YouTube and the only thing they have is finishes. They have no misses. You can't see nobody do anything wrong. So it's hard to look at your competition and critique them. You more scared, like, damn, he could do this, he could do that. And only you see in the small clips.
Right.
And it don't help you enough. Now, with the daily news, you had the box score, but at least you can see it on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
It's not like that anymore. And I think we had a lot to do with that because the Daily News did so much for New York City basketball. A lot of us start going to camps. A lot of us going to Empire State games like myself, prep school like myself, right? We were leaving.
State games.
Yeah, and it was awesome. So, but you had to kind of pick and choose at that time. And there was a lot going on. And we didn't know the politics of the game. We didn't know 20 years, 30 years from now, there'll be no high school coverage in the papers anymore.
No, we didn't.
It's crazy. Now you're entering Hilbert College, right? How was the transition from high school to being a college student?
You know what? It was somewhat a transition. But and shout out to junior college. I promote it. I tell my kids, there's nothing wrong with it. For me, it proved to be a great decision. But when I went to Hilbert, Hilbert was a nationally ranked program. My freshman year, we was top 5 in the country, and then my sophomore year, we was top 3 in the country. So I think what I had to learn, like every night out, there was competition. We was playing a national schedule, right? Of course you have to play the teams in your division, your region. Although JUCO has changed, in regards to the different divisions they have now. Back then they didn't have that, but my coach made sure we played like a national schedule. So we traveled we was like big time division 1 JUCO, in regards to going to Hilbert. So I think what I had to learn most is that like every night you got to bring your A game. There's really no nights off. In high school you say, you look at your schedule, you can already say, oh, this definitely a W. This definitely a W. This definitely a W. On that level, and two, it was more of a system, right? So, and sometimes in high school, you leaking out, you getting out and running, you getting transition baskets. On that level, everybody's getting back. So you really got to, strategize, just like playing chess, They make a move, you make a move. And you really had to think on the floor, you had to set a lot of screen, a lot of that stuff. I really picked up on that level. not breaking down the play. You break down the play, you coming out the game. So just playing the game the right way on that level. I mean, and we faced. I mean, we played all the girls. It was major Division One. They just was at JUCO for 2 years.
I think about that all the time. Even though I had a great time at Fairleigh Dickinson and graduated on time, it wasn't the right basketball fit for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Ruth. At the time, a lot of us was sticking our nose up at JUCO, the Division twos, and things of that nature, the HBCUs, because everybody was just focused on going Division One, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it meant so much to us. And now, you look at it, instead of being, Prop 48, I get my year, right? And I get to go now, pick where I want to go and the basketball program that fits me. So I applaud you by saying, you're a supporter of junior college basketball, because it'll at least give you another opportunity to get yourself together.
Right.
On and off the court. And now you can pick wherever you want to go. See your nationally ranked schools or somewhere that's going to fit you.
And you know what, Glenn, coming out of Boys and Girls High School, I got a lot of letters. It was just that, God bless the dead, my high school coach, there's some coaches that just coach because they like phys ed teachers, but she really wasn't a basketball person. So although I was, I was excellent on the court, and I was a great student too. I was in college bound at the high. I was a really good academic student, but she never put things in place for that next step for me. So
Right.
when it was like now the next step, I took the SAT, the last SAT. Like she never really told me like I need to be taking this, taking these tests. She never really did what she was supposed to do in regards, because, I could have definitely should have went D1 right out of Boys and Girls High School, because academically and athletically I was one of the best in the school. Like I said, I was in the college prep program, but you just don't know why things happen, and things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because one thing is that when I went on to Seton Hall after Hilbert, I was ready. I was ready to play. I was ready for that big university, because of the 2 years that I spent at Hilbert. I was also junior college All-American. So I mean,
Yeah.
I had every school in America, to be honest. I really did.
Who were some of the schools besides Seton Hall that was recruiting you?
Oh man, I had St. John's, I had Hawaii, I had Florida A&M. I mean, I could go down to Boston College. I had all the mid majors.
Hold on, Ruth. Did you at least take the Hawaii visit?
Yeah, I definitely took the Hawaii visit. My brother took.
Hold on. Let's make some noise for that, because I tell people all the time, you get a chance to get recruited by Hawaii, take the visit.
Yeah. I took all 5 of my visits. To be honest, I took all 5 of my visits. It's just it's funny. We're in this pandemic time, and I'm not gonna get off note because you're the host, but kids are not getting that opportunity, to go visit these colleges and universities. It's hard to just go to school and you've never really seen the campus. You didn't get a chance to, talk to your teammates and just learn the coaching staff, administration, and you just telling me to go there. Like, so all of those things, you look back and you say that, you was grateful for. But for me to play on that national junior college level, to be junior college first team All-American, to come out pretty much hand picking wherever you want to go, what more can you ask for?
Listen, you was on a mission. All-American, District Player of the Year, 1,150 points, right? Shooting 52% from the field. Who does that? That's hard to do. I tell people all the time, if you really think you good, check out your shooting percentage. Anybody can get 50 and shoot 1,000 times.
Right.
Right? And packing your stats. You shoot 52% over a 2-year period. You doing something special.
Yeah, you know,
Everybody can't do it.
sometimes you maybe too, when I think back, like maybe I feel like it was something to prove too, like because I did go to junior college for 2 years, and I said to myself, like, you know, I'm gonna make the best two years out of this. I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna learn a lot, and I did that. But you know, like you said, Glenn, it's for other people to tell your story. I never really like tell my kids that, you know, I coached over the years or how I could. They come to me and be like, "Coach, hold up, yo, I was talking to my uncle, yo, he was telling me." It's for other people to tell your story, you know. And I just sit there. Yeah, I was all right.
I tell you, I couldn't wait because, especially after Mo passed away, and I think I was doing a few shows before that, but I was really looking forward to interviewing Mo, right? And when he passed away, it touched home for me because we all around the same age, came up around the same time. And Mo was such a special person, great brother in the community, always gave back and gave with his heart. So when Mo kind of left us, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this shit hard. Not take it hard, but take this shit serious, because I took it hard. And also, I'm gonna let people tell their story, and I'm gonna help them tell it, because Mo didn't get a chance to tell his story. And he was one of our people, was one of our guys, one of our friends. So I said, you know what? With a couple of backings from a few of my friends who've been pushing me to do this for a long time, I said, you know what? Let's make it happen. And this is why I wanted to get you on, Ruth, because again, you're another person I look at. I know we came up together, and I want to make sure that the world knows what a great player you are.
Thank you, thank you.
That's just it.
You bring up a great brother.
I can't hear you.
I said, me and Mo, you know, it's funny that you bring up Mo. Me and Mo, it's like a brother. I mean, I really mean that. Like, me and Mo, we met in junior high school. We went to the same junior high school with the IS 210. And then, you know, we both, you know, came down to Boys and Girls High School. You know, we used to have those chats, you know, we used to talk about you. You know, like, we'd be in the cafeteria and you talk about who we played in, you know, this afternoon. We got Lincoln. Well, we like, we got Lincoln today. I'm like, oh, you got your hands full. He's like, yeah, my boy Glenn. Yeah, you know, he always smiling, and you know, he was just like you said. It's not a better guy that gave back, and he gave back to kids, and he never, you know, wanted anything in return. He just wanted to see kids to be successful. He was, you know, he graduated '87 with us. I mean, we all kind of traveled, you know. I mean, going to watch the games and Brevoort in the Coliseum, and
That's right.
you know, going to Soul in the Hole when you guys just played, you know, Kingston Paul. You know, it just brings back so many memories, and you know, the whole, as the kids could say, the whole hood came, and you knew you was going to see a great basketball game. Even, you know, Glenn, I tell people, and I tell my kids that when we was in high school, they had night games, you know, during the week. You had night games, you know, you had Friday night games, and, you know, you would come watch the game.
It was lit up in Brevoort and no one got shot.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about none of that. You know, you walk wherever you had, you know, everybody walk back to their hood, and you know, we would walk back and maybe have $5 in our pocket and get 4 chicken wings and fried rice and a Sunny Dell, and just go to somebody's house.
The tall iced teas, right? The corn.
And just talk about the game. Just talk about the matchups. And you know, you just really don't have that, you know, today. And I'm like, I'm going to the game, like, should I go in the park or should I wait outside the fence and watch? But it's a different time. It's a different time.
Different time. I tell a story all the time. It's a famous story, or for me at least, coming from a game in Brevoort. and 50 Cent, not the rapper,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the gangster that lived in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
He called me over and he was like, yo, Slim, keep doing what you're doing, man. You nice, man. Don't be like these other suckers around here. And for him to tell me that, like, who thought he was paying attention?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I tell kids, you never know who's paying attention.
True.
Be the person that your parents or guardians raised you to be, and everything else to, you know, carry over.
Yeah.
So we got passes. Nobody robbed us. No one pressed us.
To be honest, they made sure we was good. You know what? They made sure we was good because of that ball, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell you that ball you just lift up, you know, Glenn took me so many places I never went. I met so many people through that little round ball, you know. So like you said, if you respect it, you play it hard enough, you try to live right, that round ball will give back. Trust me,
That's
it
right.
won't do you wrong.
And a little plug, this is our sponsor, Game
Okay.
Over, our guy Eric Hicks.
Game over. Shout out Eric. Always,
Yeah.
always.
Yes. Great guy. Yeah. So now you're at Seton Hall
Mm-hmm.
playing the Big East. I interviewed James Majors, right? Had James Majors up here, Dal Walker, Gerald Green already. So you can scroll down and look at all those interviews. And they'll be on YouTube soon. So James Majors said from 1983 to 85, 86, I think 85, they were getting $5 a day for meal money. Now, I was like, damn, who was robbing y'all? Because I Family Ticket said we was getting way more than that.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, yeah, G, $5 a day. Now, I know men's program is different from the women's program. How much did you guys get for per diem when you guys went on the road trip?
That changed drastically. I don't know. I'm glad I came after him, you know. I came 89. Oh man, 89. I think we could get like $25 to $30 a day meal money.
Right.
You know, and then sometimes you would get meal money and the coach would say, okay, we're gonna go ahead and eat and just put it on one bill, and then she would pay the bill and you keep your meal money. So yeah, it changed drastically.
I said call us some hoes pocketing that change.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to that. So you get to Seton Hall. How the transition different from playing that Hilbert when you kind of like miss everything? How was the transition now playing at Seton Hall?
Whew, you know, it's like the Jeffersons moving on up in regards to everything like first class. First of all, you know, at Hilbert we went to games in vans, the 15 passenger vans, even though we were nationally ranked. You know, Seton Hall now you got the 50 passenger bus, you got your OC, you flying, you know, you flooded with gear. You know, right before I got there too is the year that Seton Hall with Gerald Green the championship. So I don't know, maybe I got there in a good year because you know when you get to that championship, you know how much the school get and the conference get. But it was so structured too. You know, the mandatory study hall. You know, you play major college basketball, getting up, running 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, every day, you know, you had time management, but you had to be somewhere. So it changed in that aspect. I think I might have had a little bit more freer time at Hilbert opposed to Seton Hall. But when you got up, it was like, you know, 6 o'clock runs, then this breakfast, then you in class, then from class you had weight training, you got practice, you got film session, you got study hall, and then you go to sleep and you get up and you gotta do it the same thing, just different days. But you know, the travel, I say that it was different. Classrooms were like, you know, bigger, more students in the classrooms. It was again, I don't have no regrets. I love Seton Hall private Catholic school. They did things first class. Very expensive to go there. So I was pleased, definitely pleased with it.
And you left there as one of the most celebrated athletes. I was doing some research. Definitely one of the top student athletes that ever played there. So, you know, you just kept being Ruth and doing you. So salute to you, for sure.
Thank
Yeah. So you graduate school, right? And now we're transitioning to the real world. Because unlike now, there's no WNBA, right? There's no other leagues that, you know, a lot of women can go to unless they want to go overseas, which is just a whole different lifestyle within itself. When the game was over for you and you became an educator, how did you get back into the game?
Wow, you know what, Lynn? Graduated, you know, I graduated Hilbert, my associate, graduated Seton Hall, my bachelor's, and now, you know, it's funny. As soon as I got out of school, with my bachelor's at Seton Hall, I did my internship in New Jersey, and the school that I actually was doing my internship in, they kept me. So I taught in Newark for a year in Newark, New Jersey.
Wow.
And then I remember being home, you know, summer going in maybe into my second year teaching, and my youngest brother now was going to Boys and Girls High School. So my
Wow.
mother was working, and you know, it was freshman orientation. It was a week before school started, so she said, Ruth, I cannot take him to, you know, freshman orientation. I got to work. Could you take him? So I said, all right, definitely. Take them to freshman orientation at Boys and Girls High School. And as soon as I come in, I see Mr. Mickens, and he like, bro, where you been? I've been looking for you. I want to offer you a job. And this is before cell phones. You remember, this is before cell phones. So he like, yo, I was calling your old house number. I ain't get no answer, but I had moved from then.
Right.
So he was like, yeah, I want to offer you a job. I'm like, well, kind of like I got a job, and it's like a week before school. I can't just. And then he's like, what? This is where you from. This is your neighborhood. Your kids need. It was kind of like, if you know Vic, it wasn't like you
Yeah.
wasn't gonna question them or. He said, yo, tomorrow meet me at the board of education 9 o'clock. He said, just bring a $75 money order. You got $75? Yeah, I got 75. He said, get that money order and meet me at the Department of Education. So then that's how I started. You know, I started to teach when I'm at the high for 1 year, and the high really wasn't doing well. You know, they didn't make the playoffs. It was like, you know, Boys and Girls High School and what it stands for traditionally rich basketball program.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Mickens wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. So season is over. First year there, and I'm still playing a little bit. Like I'm like that first year at Boys and Girls High School. You know, we had like the best players in New York. I can mention somebody like a Nuka Brown and you know, just a bunch of the top players in New York. And we kind of formed a team where we would go play the colleges during their preseason.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so he's traveling, you know, playing all the teams on the East Coast, getting them ready for their season. So I was playing a little bit, and you know, but when I was in school, like during the day, you know, Mick would call me to his office. Sometimes, you know, during my prep period, or maybe like after school, and he kind of in a roundabout way. I could tell that he really wasn't happy with things that was going on in regards to the boys basketball program, although he never said it, but you could just kind of read in between the lines. And then he would be kind of quizzing me. Like he'd be asking me basketball questions, strategy, and I didn't even really know. I'm just answering it, and he had these resumes on his desk. And I say these resumes had to be like 2 feet high. And then he was saying that, you know, Ruth, we're going to make a change next year. He said, I need you to read these resumes and come back, take 5 resumes, take them home, read them, and bring them back and tell me your top 2 or 3 choices. So I'm really going home, reading these resumes, like, yo, these 2 sound like they be best for the program. I don't know about these 3. So then, later on the week, I need you to take what when I come in his office, he's questioning me about defense, offense, leadership, and I'm like talking to him about it. So now the year is done. The summer, it's the summertime. We're coming off the summer, and now it's almost time for him to hire a basketball coach because everybody knew that he had fired the previous coach, and it's time for him, to hire a coach. And so he's still really not saying nothing. And so this one particular day, I'm in class, I'm teaching my class, I'm in the gym, and he said, and you got to remember, Glenn, back then, it was about 4,500 kids that went to Boys and Girls. It was a lot
Yes.
of kids that went
Yeah.
there. So if you could just think about the basketball gym, it was like 4 classes in there with like 50 kids in each class. So it was like, it was loud. So he comes over the PA system and he says, I need everybody to come to attention. So, we like, yo, take a knee. Everybody sitting down, take a knee. Kids are quiet. Finally, he said, I'm about to announce the basketball coach. So he comes over and he says, the new basketball coach is Ruth Lovelace. And I'm looking up at the PA system like, well, y'all know he playing, right? Y'all know he's a clown because he is a joker. He'll be back over and he'll just say like, I was playing, and he will announce whoever he picked as coach. So class goes on, everybody's at play. He never comes back over the PA system. So, our kids clapping when he, announced my name, like, yeah. And in my head, I'm like, yo, only if y'all know, I never interviewed for the job. He never once asked me did I want to coach. I never told him that I want to coach. So, he going to come back over. You know what I'm saying? It's in my head. We're going to say he was playing. So now he never comes back over. I get a prep period, and then I go to him. I'm like, yo, Mick, what's up? When you coming back over the PA system and tell him you was just playing, and whoever you pick this coach is going to be coach? He was like, I'm not. I was like, what you mean you not? I'm like, yo, how you say that I'm the coach? You never asked me if I want to be the coach. This is something I want to do. You never. He's like, you're the next coach. I'm like, wow, that's deep. People don't really know the story. And he said that you don't worry about. I don't care what nobody say. He was different. I don't care what nobody think. There's gonna be a lot of haters. There's gonna be a lot of men saying like, "Yo, how you hire?" I was 22, and I was 22 young. I was really only 4 years, maybe 3 years older than some of the seniors that I was coaching. And he just said, long as I'm in your corner, you don't have to worry about nothing. All I'm asking you to do is just go out and work as hard as you can each and every day. And I said, that's it. I said, I'm used to working hard, so you ain't asking for nothing. And that's what I did. And
Wow.
Yeah, that's the story.
Rest in peace, Coach Mitch. Such a great man. Such a great, great, great man. He used to poke fun at me all the time because I was a Lincoln guy, but always showed love. Like I could say, being one of the only dudes, like one of the first dudes from on his side to go all the way over there and do well. And Coach Mick has always supported me. Him and Coach Bobby Harstein was cool. So anytime I was over here and playing the Empire State games, or if he needed to give me some motivational words, every time I saw him, it was always great seeing Coach. Yes.
For sure. Also, shout out Bobby Harstein, another great guy.
Yes. I got my coach on here too. I snuck him on. He's on here.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
don't do social media either. So when he came to New York, we had lunch, and I cut my phone on. He said, "All right, Glenn, you got me."
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So I know the first couple of years was tough.
yeah, you know what? It was, you know what, Glenn, everything's about approach, right? And how you approach things. So, I approach, my practices. I held kids accountable, like I was held accountable, in my first year. So, like the respect factor kind of was there because in regards to the kids and my players that I was coaching, and I could say Nolan and Justin and Neil, and then they coming off like a losing season, where they really didn't believe in the system of the coach before I got there. But the way I approached it, and I kind of approached it like, a college program, from school. We had study hall after, with school study hall, then it was practice. And, practice, weight room, just being on time, you know, progress reports every day. And that was something that they wasn't used to. When you didn't do any, something right, the whole team had to pay for it. So things just kind of fell in line. From that point on in regards to the players, because they kind of like it wasn't something I taught, and back then, Glenn, I got in practice and played every day because I was still playing. So, it wasn't just telling them something; it was also showing them. At
Right.
that time, I want to say maybe like my first 4 or 5 years, I got in practice just about every day, and I played in practice. And then that's when I had to get some younger assistant coaches because could do that running and
That's
banging.
right. That's right.
Yeah, but and then I guess the outside world, and that's why I love Mickens for. And he really assured me like I didn't have to worry about that. But I think people were surprised, because like I see you said, first year we went from not even making the playoffs the year before to making the playoffs, losing to Lincoln in the quarterfinals. Great game, but then Steph was just Steph in that second half, the Riverbank State fall. But to go that far and just to beat the coaches in my division, I think we finished second in the division that year, like next to Robeson. It was like that was the
Wow.
win. Us and Robeson.
Robertson was tough back then too.
Yeah, Robeson was tough. They was tough. They were big, They had the 6'8", 6'9", 6'7".
Yeah.
Yeah,
Point guard, six
yeah,
five.
point guard, 6'5". Al Griffiths, 6'2",
Crazy.
6'3". It
Yeah.
was crazy. It was crazy. But even in those games, we competed. We competed. So once you compete in those big games and just beat everybody that you're supposed to beat, I think that started to turn the heads. Like, yo, this lady is serious. Like, she knows what she's doing. Her kids respect her. They respectable kids. They play hard for her, and I got to give kudos to my players. My players really, really, they play hard for me. They believed in me, and I don't sit here, today without them. You know what I mean? Because they didn't play hard for me. They didn't, we have a loser season, then I can't tell this story because Mick probably would have got rid of me too.
That's right. But
Yeah.
you let a couple of years go by, and all of a sudden, Ruth Lovelace is like this: city champion, state champion, city champion, two-time coach of the year. This wasn't overnight. All
Oh
this was a
man,
work in progress.
the grace of God, I put him first, but and I'm definitely grateful. Hard work. There's a lot of different moving parts that come into that. Glenn, sometimes I sit back and I think of people who coach 30 years, 40 years, some people 20 years in the PSA and never won it. And not that they wasn't good coaches, but they never won it. So it's just a select few who can say that they won a city title, and to win three and three in a row. I don't think much people thought that. You know, it's funny that, Mick too, like you said, if you watch my documentary, he said to me in that documentary, he's holding the
Hold
ball like
on,
he's
promote
holding.
the documentary because I'm gonna post it after this. Trust me, I
Yeah,
already planned that.
yeah,
Let the people know where they can go watch it too, and the name of it.
yeah, he said to me like, you gonna
Ruth,
want.
okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the people the name of the documentary. You act like everybody know. I know.
Oh, okay. It's
What's
a
the name of the?
woman. It's called A Woman Amongst Boys. A Woman Amongst Boys. ESPN 2 hour documentary. Tells a lot about my story. But I've been blessed, Glenn on E60, with same episode with Obama. I've been really, like I said, like I can't ask for any more in the game. Game has really done me well.
And you're not finished yet. Trust me, I
No,
told you.
no.
Yeah. So, how would your team have looked if New York was allowed to play today?
Woo! Oh man, Glenn, to be honest, I always say I can never guarantee a championship, right? Because I think nobody can guarantee a championship, but we would have been in the mix. We'd have been right there. It's just my opinion, not because I coach him, but I think, I was coaching the best kid, maybe coming back in the city, and Khalil Brantley, without a doubt. But it's not a kid that work harder, that plays the game the right way, that, wants to win. He put up a lot of points and people, they notice him for that. Um, he was seven in New York State, in scoring, but he wanted to win, in a worse way. And he held his kids and his teammates, accountable, for winning. But it was also, we were senior heavy, the kids that I really felt had some experience, that would have been coming back. And there's one or two pieces probably would have transferred in. So I would say that, we would have to been like top two, three when you start to talk that, who got a shot to win it. Yeah, we definitely would have had that shot to win it. I really believe that.
Wow. Well, New Year's Eve, we had an award show for our 100th show and being the end of the year. And we gave out 20 awards. And Khalil Brantley got Player of the Year. Okay? I've been watching him, of course, when he was with Tiny at Nas, and then came over because when he came over to Boys and Girls, trust me, he was at home. Right? And people treat him as such. But the game, I was so much impressed at, and it happened to come in a loss to Banneker. Banneker played Jordan rules with Khalil. Trust me. Watch the whole game. Myself, Tom Kachowski, Arthur Walker, the head of the PSL, like everybody big time was at that game. Okay? They did not give him a call. He was getting pushed to the ground. They was double and triple teaming him, making it hard for him. Similar to what Detroit was doing to Jordan. But the one thing I was impressed with that kid was his demeanor never changed. He never banged on the ground. He never looked at the referee and said, "You owe me that. I'm Khalil. I'm the top scorer. Give me that." Not one time. And when y'all lost that game, he was so hurt after that. I was like, damn, that kid's special right there.
And you know what, Glenn, you've been around all types of players and played with all types of players. You very rarely, some players don't get a player like that in their whole coaching career. For
Facts.
me to get him, and like you said, coming from different programs, but him just buying into, my program and what we was trying to do, it kind of was a win-win situation, right? It was like a relationship that went well. Because what I told Khalil from the start, I thought I could get out of him and what type of player I thought he could be. He believed in that. And he also gave me back, like, Coach, you could trust in me. I'm going to show you that I'm a leader. I'm going to show you why I need to be a captain. He didn't talk about it. He just showed it by his demeanor, by being in the first one to practice, getting in the gym at 6 in the morning, calling, seeing what time the gym is going to be or how late it's going to be, going to the weight room, hit the track when it's almost 100 degrees outside. So when you guys come and watch him play, you know, you just seeing the game aspect, but you got to know, if you know, when you play, and everybody else that understands basketball, you know, it's a lot of work have to be put in behind the scenes. And I'm telling you, in my 28 years of coaching, I have never had a play, and I had some great players. We could go
Yes.
down the line.
Yes.
Some really
Yes.
good
Yes.
players. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Great players, and I'm very thankful for them, and I love them. But I would have to say, if I had to say one player who faced the gimmick defenses, the boxing ones, the trying to all the strategies, beat him up. You know, every time he come through, make sure you pop him. And he just played on, and he still averaged 30 plus points in the PSL. We talking about against the great. We talking about PSL, Double A, Brooklyn,
That's
right? We
right.
ain't talking about no bums. We talking about the best of the best. And he still did it to every last one of them. So imagine if they didn't play gimmick defense. You know, and it's a shame, you know, it's sad, but none of us could control this. But the city, I wish the city would have had a chance to watch him play one more year.
And it is sad because listen, Catholic school is about to suit up. I saw Gary Irvin the other day. I said, yo, G Irvin, man, just let me know when you got some free time in February. So he's like, oh, damn, G, we start next week. I said, what? He's like, yeah, our league is starting. I said, that's PSL? He was like, no.
Well, you know, they do things different. It's a whole different entity there. And, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
public school and PSAL. And don't get me wrong, you know, I want to play in the worst way. Like, this has been the most depressive time of my life. Like, the most time I ever spent in my house, like not being in the gym, not being in the
Right.
school. And I say this to you, like my first 16 years of school, I never missed a day of school. Never missed a
Wow.
day of school. I mean, that's like, I always tell people, that's my first house, and where I live is my second house. So nobody wants to play more than me. Nobody wants their kids on the court more than me. But I do understand the safety first, you know, and the safety protocol, you know, I want to get back on that court, but sometimes that's the selfish part of me. But then there's another part of me saying, like, how are we going to get back on that court? You know, right now, high school is not even in session. You know, public schools are not even in the building. So I'm not saying that it can't be done, but it would have to be a whole lot of protocols and rules and regulations that would have to go in play or be in play to have it done. And you know, I don't know, you know.
Yeah. I already know about the politics of New York City basketball. We'll talk about that offline. It's crazy. But, you know, this is the only thing that these kids have. So however they work it out, however we get these kids to play, to get them some kind of exposure. You know, I guess it's up to people like ourselves. So yeah. So I'm gonna let you get out of here in a few. Last couple of questions. What's your perception of New York City basketball today, despite COVID?
You know, I would like to think, you know, when there's a lot of good people in the game, you know, but we also know there's a lot of individuals in the, you know, in the game that's for themselves, that's not really, you know, doing right by kids, teaching kids the right way, not telling them the truth. And that's the part of basketball that bothers me. But there's a lot of good coaches and good people in the game. And I think, kids have to try to find that. But more importantly, they parents have to get involved and, do their homework, do their investigation, do their work to find out those programs. When we played, there was a handful of teams, and that was it. And that's where the best players play. Now every corner store got an AAU team. You know, people that never even, I think, even attempted to even watch a game, much less play a game. They got AAU teams, so and then you just trying to get the best players and get them together and put them on the court. And we know that's not the right way. So I would say that New York City basketball, if you get in the right hands and do things the right way, go to the right programs, then we in good hands. But if you the opposite and you don't, it could be a really dirty game. It really can.
Yeah. Mo Hicks, I had him on here a couple of weeks ago. He said that what you said, we gotta educate the parents. Once you educate the parents, the bodega down the block can't come with his AAU team and say, I want your son to play with me. Here's some new sneakers in a bag.
Yeah,
never
right.
teach that kid anything. And that kid is coming back the same way and wondering why, there's no scholarships on the table.
And that's amazing, right, Glenn? We got a long way to go. If you could give a kid a pair of sneakers in a bag and then they just sell they sold to you, that's a disheartening part. And then we as adults, we got to be better than that. We got to be better than that. I always tell people, I don't recruit the kid. I don't talk to the kid. Let me talk to your parent. We don't talk to the parent. Like my principal, my athletic director, they have conversations. But the parent just show them the statistics of what we do in the classroom and why that's important. And if you take care of all of that, then you get on the basketball court. But it really is a disservice the way the basketball community a lot of times are doing kids. They're kids. They don't know. Like, so if you give them that pair of sneakers that maybe their parents about, you got them, but it's really not the right way. Like when we was young, you had to earn things. You know what I mean? We
Yes.
earned it.
Yeah. You had to earn everything.
Right.
That's right.
And then if we did come in with a pair of sneakers, our parents would be like, "Yo, where you get that sneaker for?" Hold on, let me call that coach. You know what I mean?
Exactly what my mom's did every time I bought some home until it became used to it. But in the beginning, let me call this person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who gave you a ride home? Let me call this person. All right. So if you're not doing your due diligence, the kid gonna do what he wants, and the kid start acting like or behaving like he or she is grown.
Right. Setting them up for failure.
Crazy. The one thing I want to give you credit with, Ruth, is keeping your players home. That's one thing I can say about boys and girls. If a kid goes to boys and girls, bring the phone down a little bit, Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
If the kid goes to boys and girls, 9 times out of 10, he's probably going to finish up at boys and girls.
And you know why, Glenn? Because, we treat it like a family atmosphere. It's a lot of love at boys and girls. And I mean, you don't have to hear that from me. I don't have to promote boys and girls. I always tell people, ask the players, ask the parents who kids that went to boys and girls. But when you come there, it's bigger than basketball. From the teachers and the administration, like they're going to support you. You're going to make sure you get that schoolwork done. They just teach you to be a better person. They respect parents. They bring parents in. They celebrate parents, and the school is not like it's open. Come in and see what we do. I tell people all the time, like, I don't have to talk about, just come and see what we do. And I know people know when they not treated fairly or something's wrong, then they're gonna leave. But most kids that boys and girls, they come and they come to a program where people sincerely care on every level. But we're gonna play basketball. We're gonna play basketball hard, and we're gonna be good. All right, we definitely gonna compete. But all the other little things that I'm not gonna say go on to other places, but I know those little things definitely go on at Boys and Girls High School, and kids and parents love that, and that's why kids come and they stay.
Listen, when I come to the door, I know I can say Ruth Lovelace. You know who I say Ruth when I come to the door and I get the red carpet treatment? You know who name I throw out there?
No, I don't.
Mama G.
Mama G. Mama G. Mama G is a product. Her son went to Boys and Girls. Look what he's doing, playing overseas. Great kid. And you know what? A sense of a great person, an alumni, is kids that come back. And when Bryce come home, he always come back. He's always in kids' ear. He's always playing with them and teaching them, not just talking about it, but showing them what it's like to play on that next level. And Glenn, the one thing too about Boys and Girls High School is that we open it up to everybody. So
Yep.
in the summertime, it's not about getting boys and girls kids better. It's about any kid that want to get better. Come on in and use our facility, because it's not about boys and girls and just boys and girls play. It's about any kid that want to get better and do something positive.
That's right. Mama G, that's one of my best friends, Todd, who also went to Boys and Girls. Yep. That's his woman. So we all family. So she go whenever you come to the game. And I missed it. I was kind of nervous first time. They was like, Mama G, come right in here. And that's how you see me at the games all the time.
Say, think about it. Mama G, she plays her part as parent coordinator, and she gets parents on board, and she's always in the building. She's there late. She give up her time, but all of that matters. It's not just Ruth Lovelace, head basketball coach. All of those pieces play a part. Security, the lunch staff, the custodians. Everybody plays a part to make this engine or this train, I like to say, this train run.
All right, Ruth. Here we go. Let's have some fun. Top 5 players in New York City history. In your eyes.
Ooh, top 5 players in New York history. I would have to go with the legends. You got to say Kareem, right? Abdul-Jabbar. A little better known as Lou Alcindor. We always had this point guard talk. Man, I know how great Pearl Washington was, right? He was great. But in my era, I got to see Kenny Anderson play. And I thought Kenny Anderson might have been the best that ever did it. But, I watched Pearl, I was in 8th grade, I was 7th, 8th grade. He was a man against boys. So we probably had to go with Pearl. I would say Kenny Anderson have to be in that mix as the other guard.
You can just have Boys and Girls if you really want to.
Yeah, we really can, to be honest. And I like the way you said that, Glenn. You said Boys and Girls got more basketball champions. No, the second most.
Let me explain. And I'll finish out the list for you. Connie Hawkins, Jumping Jackie Jackson. That's it. It's a wrap.
That's
you can tell Lenny Wilkins.
Right.
Okay? There's so many.
Right. It's so many.
Well, another reason why basketball is going to be so important, because when I started doing the research to like the city championships and all that, I would ask people who has the most city championships. First school, everybody would say who you think everybody would say first?
They'd say Lincoln.
Facts. Everyone says Lincoln. And I go, no. Not even. Think we're third. It's DeWitt Clinton, and then it's Boys and Girls. Okay? Yep. And I think y'all up there in the top 10 for sending guys to the NBA as well. But for our city championships, y'all the second winningest program in New York City history, behind DeWitt Clinton. DeWitt Clinton has 18, and they also sent 18 guys to the NBA.
Wow.
Nobody even remembers DeWitt Clinton,
Right.
right? So we want to make sure people don't forget Ruth Lovelace, boys and girls, and all these other people that had an impact in New York City basketball.
And let me just say this. I know we talk about basketball and basketball heads, but Boys and Girls High School got the most city championships when you look at all the sports, right? So Boys and Girls High School, if you want to give us, kudos on another end, has the
Woo!
most city titles out of any high school in New York City.
That's crazy.
Go
That's
through the
crazy.
research.
And look, when you got the pick of the litter, because DeWitt Clinton and Boys and Girls were all boys schools at one time, and then it kind of crossed over. And Ruth, you did something amazing. Paul Brown been at Boys and Girls since who knows? Has some of the greatest players in New York City history. Never won it.
Yeah, I always say I wish I had some of his players. Yeah, he had some great players.
It wouldn't have been fair. It wouldn't have been fair. God bless you with the players that you had, and you had some great ones. One I want to ask you about, because I remember him in 8th grade, and he was like one of your first star players, Mike Taylor. What is Mike Taylor up to these days? Because I would
Mike
love to
Taylor
interview Mike.
he's now a dad, and he's working. If people really knew Mike's story, because Mike really have a story.
That's why I want to interview him. I used to teach his younger brother. His younger brother went to my school.
Yeah,
And once he found out I knew his brother, we had a different kind of relationship.
So Mike Taylor has a story in itself. Maybe one day you could get him on, Glenn. But to talk to Mike Taylor of today, very humbling. Father figure, wants the best for his kids. Understand that he has to go to work and provide. He's still playing, still in shape. Mike Taylor always tells me like, Coach, I never ever get a high school diploma if I didn't play for you. Because before I came to the high, I kind of just did what I want when I want. Like, coaches never really chastised me. They just kind of just let me get over, and I kind of did what I wanted to do. But when I came to Boys and Girls High School, you humbled me. You humbled me in a lot of different ways. You made me understand that I didn't have to score a lot of points in order to get, major Division I offers, and to be, I used to tell him, like, Mike, to be known as a really good player, really good players are really good because they make their teammates better. All right. That's how you get them individual awards. And he was like, like he didn't understand it, and to this day he comes out, he'll say to me like, "Hey, Coach, you know what? I didn't get it back then, but I got it before my high school career was over." And I made him understand, like, that, just be more of a team player. Work on your mid range. Of course, he had the long jump shot. Get in the weight room, be a little bit more physical, and he did, and he did because, again, I always use that word, accountability, but I encouraged him, just listen and buy in, and at the end, let's see if it comes out to be true, and it did. And so I love Mike Taylor. And Mike Taylor's a great guy. He'll give you his shirt off back. Anything he got, you can definitely get it from him. But he has he deserves a lot of credit too, because doing those runs, he definitely was that guy, along with a lot of other players that was on that team.
Yeah. Yes, you had a lot of good players, but I just always remember Mike because I remember him 8th grade, and every time I see him, he always gave respect. We was able to, have dialogue, no matter when I saw him. And I posted a picture of him today because, doing my research on you, came across one of his pictures, and I said, I miss this kid. And it was more about who that kid was than basketball with me. So I know a lot of people get caught up in the hype. For me, it's about who you are as a person. And Mike was a great kid, so I definitely want to make sure I ask you about him. Think you're buffering. as soon as we're about to show you your picture. Are you still there? Crazy, man. Glad we got to have this interview because I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, Ruth Lovelace will leave a legend. Hey, I'm glad you guys were able to watch the interview. I'm just going to wait for her to come back on real quick, or at least watch me as I show her picture. All right? Ruth Lovelace, Boys and Girls Great, and Boys and Girls Legendary Coach. Let's check out.
Y'all ready?
Wow. 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 Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow, Les. Definitely. All right, people. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And this is that new Game Over basketball. Y'all check that out. You know how we do. Basketball Heads Live. We are the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.